Hello everybody, and welcome back to another video on the channel. I know it's been a while. Apologies for the shortage in videos, but we're back. So here we've got the Porsche Cup car at where are we at here? This is Watkins Glen. This is the shorter track though, so we don't do the full boot of the track. This is like the club track. So we still do the bus stop and everything like that. So that's coming up now, just on my first quali lap. Which I'm actually reasonably proud of, but as you would see at the end of the qualifying, for the end of this qualifying lap, it actually didn't end up counting. But yeah, if it did count, in my opinion, it'd be one of my fastest laps I've ever done already. Pretty clean. This car's really hard to get right, but then when you do get it right, it's very satisfying. But yeah, this is So usually with the larger track, we continue off to the left there, but this one's a short track, and then that's where this is where both the tracks meet up. And then very short laps, so we're coming up to the end of the lap now. And then as I was saying just before, this is when I ended up getting the off track. So I went pretty wide here, tried to get on the throttle as soon as possible, went off track just that little bit, and then the lap was invalidated. So onto a lap now. My opinion, probably not as good as the previous lap, but at least this one ends up counting and puts me in a decent position. But not as fast as I felt like lap 1 would have been. But this, as I was saying, this car is very hard to drive. As you saw just then, I had to make a big correction going up through the S's. 600 horsepower all to the rear wheels, so fair bit to control. And with this car, you need to be like so soft and everything. As you can see, all my direction changes are always nice and steadily putting the car into the corner, as you saw me just doing just then. Keep it steered in. Don't keep on counter steering it and stuff like that. Don't upset the car, because it's a very wishy-washy suspension, I guess you could say. It's very soft. So the car likes to react on everything that you do. So you just need to keep it planted as much as possible. Counter steer a bit like what I was doing just then, just to keep the car planted in the direction you want. But for the most part, it needs to be very steady inputs and everything. So steering, braking, as well as throttle. And then so that's the end of the qualifying lap. And now we're going to be sitting on the grid for the race. So starting, decent position, not very, but reasonably high strength of field, and there's nothing separating any of these guys. So there's because the length of the track is so small, it's very easy for the grid to be as tight as it is. So you find 100th somewhere, and I probably would have been a position higher. I think from memory, the guy in P1 though, he set a really good lap. But even then, it was probably without looking, but maybe like 9 thousandths. 9 tenths. Sorry. Anyway, building the revs. Not really happy with that start, but it wasn't too bad. Getting 2 positions right off the start. Probably dumped the clutch a bit too hard, so the car bogged down a bit. But up 2 positions now onto the inside of the fluoro looking car. Had to leave him space, so I had to get over to the right a bit. And then it's too dodgy going too wide up in these S's, so I kind of let him have it. Got off the throttle, and then he started braking for some reason. So I hit the brakes, go to my left. Cold tires, 600 horsepower. Bound to happen. People try to push too hard. Not moving to the inside, to the right hand side of the track, really to try and dive bomb this guy, mostly to protect from behind, even though no one was really there. But I just want to be clean on the first lap. Watching a number of videos, it's crash after crash on the first lap with cold tires. So really just keeping your nose clean, at least for the first maybe 1 or 2 laps, and then you can start getting a bit feisty with your elbows out. That's usually the way to go. But I pulled out a decent gap to the driver behind, as you can see in my rear vision mirror, and some of the cameras up the top as well. And then there's a really long train of obviously all Porsches in front of me. And then yeah, I was, in my opinion, reasonably slow at the start. I really just tried to stay in the train, stay in draft, because these cars are very susceptible to draft. I mean, they don't have a lot of downforce or anything like that, so you don't suffer too much area wash. The car understeers enough as it is out of draft. So yeah, it's pretty important staying in draft, especially in my opinion when the guys, at least for the first half or so of this race, these people were faster than me, and pretty much the only way that I could keep up with them was staying in the draft. So yeah, that was really important, and also trying to maintain the tyre life. Also very important coming into the later stage of the race. You can have quite a big advantage really in lap time, and consistency as well. If you have preserved your tyres for the last stint. So yeah, that's really what I was trying to do. So like I was saying, just stick behind all these guys, although I would have liked to be in front of some of them if I had a tenth or two better pace, but yeah, it wasn't too bad, so just trying to keep it clean. Yeah, one of the things that I've found is under braking, I'm pretty fast, and then my throttle input, I mean, it's also down to me trying to preserve the tyres a bit, but yeah, my throttle input seems like I'm maybe not as aggressive as some of these guys, because yeah, they're spinning, but yeah, not as aggressive as some of the other guys, because they seem to pull away slightly just on the exit of corners, but obviously I gain it back because of the draft. But yeah, under braking, so going through the bus stop there and obviously into turn 1, yeah, very important braking zones. Very easy to lock these cars' brakes up, and if you do that, I mean, this close to racing, I'm probably going to screw up 2 or 3 people. And myself included. So yeah, very, very hard to get these brakes right. So it took a lot of practice really, because I don't have a lot of practice in this car, I must say. I'm more of like a GT3, GTE, IMSA, VRS kind of guy. But yeah, jumping in this car is a lot of fun. Which, I mean, that kind of segues into one of my next points that I want to talk about, next week's track. So yeah, I'm thinking about continuing this, the Porsche Series a lot more, and yeah, do a lot more races than I have been doing in the past. But yeah, next week's track, that's gonna be interesting. I'm very slow there. I mean, it's a fun track. So it's an VIR, so Virginia International Raceway. I think it's called the West track, or West Wing, something about West. But basically it's an extended version. So you do the infield as well as the main, or pretty much you do the main, VIR track, as well as, yeah, like I was saying, the infield. And then it's literally just up and down. And then there's so many blind corners. As I say that, I missed the apex. I'm not a blind corner, so we'll see how I do next week. So yeah, well, back to the video a bit and then I'll continue it. So yeah, I'm slightly falling away from the train a bit, so yeah, I'm trying to knuckle down, I guess, and try and catch the train, because yeah, it's really, really important. As you can see, there's so many people bumper to bumper. It's really hard to overtake at this track, really, unless you're like a meter behind the person, and then you can set it up for under braking, like in a turn 1, and then going to the bus stop. Other than that, really, it's hard to overtake. You can't overtake going around the right-hander, the long right-hander, and then obviously you can't overtake. You can't even go too wide or whatever, going up through the S's. So under braking, I mean, I caught these guys up maybe 10th or 2 again. So I feel like that's really my strong suit. And then I guess around this stage of the race is when you see strategy, I guess. So if you preserve your tyres, which I did at the start of the race, kept my nose clean, didn't push the tyres too hard, then yeah, missed the apex again. Then yeah, you really start to reap the benefits around here, because the people that pushed first, 5, I don't even know what lap I'm up to now, but first 5 or so laps, the temperatures on the tyres are really hard to dip down. So once they're really high, yeah, they're hard to dip down. When they're high, the car is so slippery. And then going up through these S's, if you have really high tire pressure and really hot tires, you'll need to back out the throttle a lot more than I had to. I'm pretty sure I was flat then, maybe a little lift. But yeah, if your tires are really hot because you push too hard, then yeah, you have to lift significantly going up there. Otherwise, the rear end's just going to kick around. And then you're going to have to counter steer, and then that's going to heat him up even more. So yeah, it is down to strategy, I guess, because and then the advantage of being aggressive and stuff like that on the first opening laps of the race is everyone's bunched up. It's easy to gain positions. At the same time, saying that, it's easy to ruin your race. Everyone's bunched up, so it's kind of a cat and mouse a bit. Because you can easily gain positions, but then if you want to be a hero going into turn one, you can easily lose, come dead last. So yeah, it's a bit of a toss-up, whichever one you want to play. But yeah, as you can see, I'm just running my line, and then yeah, the little pack of three in front of me, they're starting to reach out wider and wider in turn one. So that basically means that they don't have the grip to really put them on the racing line every lap like I was. Well, I still am. So yeah, they seem to be struggling a bit, and then yeah, that straight helped me out a lot. I definitely took a bit too much curb there. So yeah, probably didn't lose out much, or if anything at all, but just unsettled the car a bit under braking. So yeah, back into draft, and then yeah, so that really helps out a lot because I don't have to push as much. So the tyre life, which I guess is the strategy that I'm going for, really, stays preserved and stuff like that. I'm not pushing the tyres. Yeah, VIR. So yeah, very interesting, track. It's in the middle of nowhere as far as I know, or at least when you're racing around the track, it doesn't look like any houses around really. There's some houses actually connected to the track almost, but other than that, in the background there don't seem to be any buildings or anything like that. So I'm sure it's in the middle of nowhere. But the actual track itself, like I was saying, there's so many blind corners because of how hilly it is. You can't see the apex in the next corner, especially in the midfield. So yeah, the midfield, there's literally just up and down, and yeah, it's crazy. So I guess I'll go into practice. I have been practicing just in test sessions, but yeah, going into practice tomorrow. So that's when the new week starts with the new races. I'll see how far off pace I am. Just going off of VRS, so I have a VRS subscription. Just going off that, I'm about 6 seconds off pace, which is a lot, but I feel like I won't be the only one off pace. Just to put in perspective, I guess my normal pace, I'm matching VRS's lap times here, which is for me a big achievement. I was very happy about that. But yeah, it's crazy. I think I've done 20 laps or so maybe with a few more laps, I'll bring it down, or a bit of a brake lock up there. Didn't affect me too much. In fact, I probably no, I didn't gain. Again, it's the on throttle bit that I think I'm losing out to some of these guys, because as you saw, I gained so much going into the braking zone despite me locking up. And then on exit of the bus stop, I just seem to lose some ground, and then braking zone, catch people, and then I don't know. So maybe something that I look at the telemetry with to try and compare on VRS, where if maybe I am losing out there. But in saying that though, what I'm doing, being easy on the throttle, that also helps preserve my tyres. So it's a bit of a toss up, whichever one. So again, going into turn one, massively caught up to him, and then have a good advantage going into the bus stop again with the draft of all these people. But you don't really have a speed advantage on anyone unless someone screws up going through the S's, because everyone's in draft. Everyone roughly has the same speed, so no one necessarily has that big of a speed advantage on anyone else. So that guy screwed up the bus stop really significant, actually. Screwed up the second corner of the bus stop, so the left-hander. He went way too wide, and then got on the bumps over to the right of the track, and then kind of screwed him over. So he went wide on the exit of that long right-hander, but he had a better run out of that turn. So he was able to overtake me. I didn't let off or anything like that. I didn't mean to give the position back, but guy up on my inside. I don't know where he came from. I wasn't even really watching just then. But he dived on me a bit, and then I wasn't happy here. That was stupid on my fault. I mean, he had the apex, but I went so wide for some reason. It wasn't my braking, it wasn't my steering or anything like that. I wasn't understeering. It was just me not turning in at the right time. I should turn in sooner, which would have put me a lot closer. But oh well. I guess because of that, I lost the draft a little bit, so just a bit of a catch-up game now. So I'm pushing myself in the tyres a bit more now, just so I can catch up, because as I was saying at the start of the video, the draft is very important, especially when I think that these guys for the most part are faster than me. So I'm really just piggybacking on from them. Trying to push a bit there, going through the turn. I still got the apex. Probably could have gotten on throttle a bit earlier. I didn't use the exit curb enough, but because I was pushing a bit, I wouldn't say my brakes locked, but they chirped up a bit. But all was good. And then going through turn 1 again, massive train developing ahead of me. Unfortunately, I wasn't really there though. Still a bit far back from where I want to be. Everyone going over to the right. Obviously one person went defensive, and then everyone wants to be in the draft with the other person, so everyone kind of follows everyone's line, just the same draft. So because of that one mistake, not really one mistake, but one action of one driver being defensive and everyone following that guy's line, everyone moved over to the right. That means that everyone was offline. I was the only person really online. So I gained massively. So I was very happy that everyone kind of screwed up per se the bus stop. So I gained massively, probably like almost a second on these guys, just because of everyone going over to the right and screwing up their entry and exit. So here I could have sent it 3 wide. I didn't want to though, so I let off the throttle. I got on the brakes early just so these guys can battle a bit. I should have, looking back on it, I should have stayed close to that guy that spun out. But I don't know where that would have put me. I could have, if I did that, I could have been involved in that wreck with him. So it's almost a good thing it happened, but that wreck kind of screwed up the train a bit. So no one's really in a long line. And then that Liquid Molly Porsche that came out in front of me, that kind of screwed me over as well. So he was obviously involved in the crash and then came back out on track, and then as I've mentioned a number of times now, you can't at all go too wide without significantly being off the throttle, and then if you do that, it's going to screw up both of you. So just to be polite, I guess, and to not cause a possible crash, I did let off the throttle going up through the S's so he can safely come in front of me, and then me and this guy having a battle. I think, as far as I know, let's see, I got on the brakes later than him, but I guess I had better tyre life, so I was able to bleed off the brakes a lot sooner than he was, so he's still carrying more speed. So I got on the brakes earlier, but obviously not as hard as he did. and that's me as well, being off the racing line. So yeah, the strategy of preserving the tyres, I guess, coming into play now, it would have been a lot better if I was closer to everyone, because this is really, in my opinion, where I start to push the tyres and have a better strategy than everyone else. The guy behind me, though, does take advantage of my extra pace, and he's able to stay in draft, because yeah, I feel like in this stage of the race is where I really picked up my, I wouldn't say pace, because my pace has probably gone down, but in terms of my overall pace compared to everyone else, I feel like this is really where I started to gain, because of everyone else pushing possibly excessively in the opening stages of the race, where I was nice and calm. Pushing a bit much there, I guess. Yeah, had a bit of oversteer that I had to correct, but yeah, nothing much. Going a bit, not really defensive, but just trying to keep him out of my draft. So yeah, if you keep an eye on the fluoro yellow car, yeah, I guess you see by the later stages of the race I do actually gain on him. So if they're probably like 5 more laps, it would have been a better fight than it was. But yeah, nonetheless, I mean, it was still a very exciting race. But yeah, I feel like that wreck that I had to let the guy merge in front of me and stuff like that, it kind of screwed me over. Because yeah, I really came alive with the tyre strategy, I guess. Bit of understeer there though. Yeah, the car just wouldn't turn into the apex. Got a bit of a late apex, so I still got some sort of apex, not the desired one. Missed the apex again a bit there, but yeah, not bad. Still able to carry probably the same amount of speed as if I were to hit the apex properly. So yeah, it wasn't that big of a deal. Starting to chirp the brakes, I guess, into turn 1, and turned into turn 1 probably a bit too early. I was really pushing here, but yeah, nonetheless, it was still a good corner. I hit the apex. And then yeah, up through the S's, no real problem with oversteer or anything like that. So I had plenty of grip in the grand scheme of things to safely go up there. Bit better now. So yeah, I got the car turned in a bit more. A bit of oversteer on exit though. But yeah, that was fine. Yeah, this car's pretty easy, I guess, to save. It's, I don't want to say forgiving because it's a bitch of a car, but it's you have a good understanding of the car, I guess, because the suspension is so soft, and the car's, I guess, so nimble still. Yeah, you can save it. So yeah, even if you make a mistake, you can just it depends what it is. You can either put in the clutch, or you can stay in the throttle and just counter steer a bit. But the car, you can really feel and have a really good understanding of what the car is doing. So yeah, going through turn 1 in the S's just then, I gained a lot. So the guy behind, he's probably about half a second. 6-7 tenths of a second maybe, but then on throttle just then you probably gained a bit. Missing the apex a bit here, a lot of understeer, so I guess maybe my front tyres, a bit of a save there, maybe my front tyres are going out, and then my rear tyres are still pretty good, even though I've had a few oversteering moments. But yeah, as you can see, the yellow car, he's getting closer and closer, but yeah, not enough laps to catch him. The guy behind caught up a bit, so white flag this lap, but yeah, the guy behind me caught up a bit, and really at this point I know that I'm not really going to catch, unless there's a mistake, I'm not really going to catch the guys in front. So it's really just down to defending my position now, because the guy is a lot closer this lap than he was the previous, so and it wasn't really down to trying to be on the optimal race line to try and catch the guys in front, because there's no point. because it was too far away. So right over to the right hand side of the track, being defensive, going over to the left a little bit just so I can have carry a bit more speed and a bit more optimal race line going into the bus stop. Bit of understeer again, but yeah, nothing too bad. And yeah, not a lot, but yeah, a bit of oversteer that I have to correct, so that's what 3 laps in a row. But yeah, the guy behind me's actually caught up quite a bit. So yeah, him and I at the later stages of this race, we had really good pace. But yeah, couldn't really do anything with it because we were so far behind because of that wreck that we had to both avoid. But yeah, anyway, yeah, that's the end of this race. So yeah, pretty good result. Yeah, so I think it was 13th to 6th, and then yeah, some good battles and really fun staying in the train that kind of came in clutch and trying to improve my pace, kind of letting me piggyback off of him a bit. But yeah, thanks for watching, everyone.